When you think of Oshkosh on the water, of course you think of fishing. That's probably the most popular thing on Lake Winnebago is fishing. And the Otter Street Fishing Club does a terrific job of helping all the fishermen. Today we have Scott Engel, the president of the Otter Street Fishing Club, with us. We're in the clubhouse here, and I see all over the walls lifetime members. And how big is your membership?
Our life membership is about 600 members right now. Our annual membership bounces around mattering on how good the ice fishing is and how much work we do for them out there. A lot of annual members come in buying their annual memberships due to the work we do out on the ice.
Okay. And do you have like a mission or a goal, or what's the reason for Otter Street Fishing Club today?
Yeah, our bylaws of our club have said that our money and our funds are to go for the betterment of fishing on Lake Winnebago and the Winnebago chain. And that basically goes into anything that has to do with from conservation to fishing piers, anything along that line.
Do you get along well with the DNR?
Yes, we do, actually, very well. In fact, about 5 years ago, we donated a $35,000 shocking boat to the DNR. Their funds, like everybody's, has been restricted in recent years, and we found that to be very vital in the conservation effort. They use that shocking boat a lot in the spring for various species of fish to get very, very valuable information and hopefully keep our resource doing well out there.
That's great. Some of your funding also goes towards some piers. You've built some piers down in Menominee Park.
Yes, we've done, most recent one was right there about the foot of New York Avenue. That was a $35,000 pier we're very proud of. We also have we've done things in the past, the old railroad bridge that was taken out. I'm guessing it's been about 10 years ago in the river there.
The Sioux Line Bridge.
Yeah, the old Sioux Line, and we converted that, the base there, into a nice fishing pier also. We've got another small one over by the Technical Institute. We've done a few things along that line with fishing piers, and same thing with helping upgrade boat launches.
That's nice. Yeah. And then you have kids fishing tournaments?
Yeah, we got one actually tomorrow. We have about 400 children fishing the north end of Menominee Park, Millers Bay Menominee Park tomorrow. And I think it's our nicest event. To see the enjoyment, the kids, it's ages 3 to 12, very much a family day. You see moms, dads, grandparents, sometimes aunts and uncles, and the thrill the kids get by, just catching fish. It doesn't matter if they catch a sheephead or a little perch this size. I mean, you see the enjoyment in their face, and it just really is a nice event.
Great. I think that when I think Otter Street Fishing Club, the biggest thing you do is the annual fishing tournament that you do over Father's Day. Tell us a little bit about that.
That started in about the early 80s, and that has basically evolved into one of the bigger tournaments in the Midwest. It rivals a lot of the pro tournaments as far as money and numbers of teams. We annually have 300 plus teams in the tournament. Our payout is over $70,000 in that tournament, and it really is a well-run tournament, and that's kudos to one of our board of directors, Jim Gibson, who has taken over that tournament since about the 1990 and has basically made that tournament into what it is today.
That's a catch and release tournament?
Yes, it is. We're very proud of that. Obviously, in some conditions, it's harder to release some of the fish. This year, our release rate wasn't as good as we would have normally liked. It was about 50 to 60% due to warm weather and bigger fish. The year before, we were about 80%, and you're very proud to put back that many fish back into the resource.
There's a number of tournaments on the Lake Winnebago system through the summertime, and there's always talk that what's going to happen is it going to be fished out and there won't be any walleye anymore. Well, you probably know more about it than even the DNR. What are your feelings on that?
Well, I like to listen to a lot of the information that they put out to us, and right now our resource as far as the walleye go out there it's probably the best this lake has been in, I'm going to say 50, 60, 70 years, and that's only because I'd probably go further than that, but that's basically the best as far as studies go and what you're getting in year classes. You can see this as an average fisherman. It doesn't take a DNR biologist to figure it out. If you're a fisherman and you go out and you're catching all these different year classes of fish, you see the size of these fish and the sheer numbers out there are incredible. The resource right now is probably at one of the strongest it's been in quite some time.
And what do you credit that to? How come there's more fish than there was?
You know, a lot of it's luck. It's Mother Nature. Mother Nature, as far as the runoff in some of the springs and keeping the water levels high in the spring for the spawning beds, that's a big reason right there. Early 90s, there were a lot of, late 80s, early 90s, there were a lot of bad years in a row. And if fishermen look back to those years, fishing was very hard back in those years. It was hard to catch a walleye, and the walleye population was hurting very bad. Recently, basically the biggest thing you can probably say is Mother Nature is the number one thing. Obviously conservation's another thing as far as clubs like ours and Walleyes for Tomorrow and other ones trying to look out for, you know, the resource and do the best things we can out there.
Now the tournament is just a walleye tournament.
Yes.
How many fish are caught? You have 300 teams, they all average what, 3 or 4 fish apiece?
Right. Each team can bring in 5 fish per day, and it's a 2-day tournament. So that each team can catch up to 10 fish for the weekend. So you put that together, there's a possibility of catching 3,000 fish there, you know. So I mean, and this year the way the fishing was, I don't have the exact numbers, but easy to say we had probably 2,500 fish caught.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's an incredible amount of fish, and when you're in these tournaments, all these guys are excellent fishermen, and all of them can catch fish. So again, it kind of comes with a little bit of luck in that matter too, to get on some big fish. Sure. You know, the guys can be out there, they tell me, oh, I was out all week and I caught, you know, 6 and 7 pound fish all week, and then the tournament comes and they can't catch anything more than a 2-pounder. It's
vice versa.
Yeah, right. It's just, it can be luck. You know, you throw your hat in the ring and hope for the best.
One thing we haven't touched on yet that Otter Street's very involved in is the sturgeon spearing. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sturgeon is another thing that I think is probably the most vital resource, and it's so, how to put it, but it's a touchy resource. You have to be very careful with it. A female sturgeon can't even spawn until it's 25 years old. So, I mean, there's a lot of information with that as compared to walleyes and other fish that spawn every year, you know, right off the bat. These fish have to be 25 years old before they can even spawn, and then they spawn at a rate of, I believe it's every 4 to 5 years. Really? They're able to spawn after that. So, again, they watch the numbers, and they're very I'd say the attention on that is very tight as far as making sure that the amount of females that are taken, whether they're juvenile females or adult females. Obviously, they allow more males to be taken because they're not as vital to the system, but sturgeon is a very crucial part of our system.
And that season is in February, and it can last one weekend if the spearing is really done well, or it could last out to 3 weeks.
Right. The annual season is usually 17 days long, and they have it adjusted where they can put an emergency rule to shut it off with basically 24 hours notice, and that is due to the trigger cap. If they get close with those numbers as far as juvenile females, adult females, or even males, they have certain numbers set up that once it hits that number, the season's over. Okay. So it matters again on how the season's going, and if the fish are, you know, it can be Mother Nature again as far as clarity of the water and everything else, whether the season goes well or not. So
good. Well, Otter Street Fishing Club does a great job. Do you have anything else to say?
No, thank you so much for giving us the airtime.
Okay, Scott.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.